Mario scene.
Are we nearly there? I don't know how long the stream delay is.
I do not know either, but we'll be all right.
There
yeah, it looks like we're off. So now mostly everybody here is probably familiar with the very first kingdom that we run into in this speedrun. It is going to be Cap Kingdom. Really, Pack Team, in a casual playthrough, it's meant to kind of show you the ropes. Like, hey, this is how you use the controllers. This is how you use Cappy. This is what's going on. But we're gonna skip all those cutscenes and we're just gonna blast through this. So, really, it just comes down to, as you see with most of these kingdoms, but this one in particular, it's just movement optimizations. Not a whole lot of tricks. We may see one very hard trick at the end of Cap Kingdom, but we'll get there when our runners get there. So.
I don't think I've seen that in a race yet. If one of them can pull it off, I will be extremely impressed.
Not to toot my own horn here, but I pulled it off.
Oh, well.
I messed up everything else about Cap Kingdom, but I got that trick, so I was happy. But anyways. Yeah. Anyways, this ain't about me. This is about xwater. An unfortunate bonk there from xwater, but not a big time loss, as both of our runners are going to get to the switch here within 5 seconds of each other. So, and luckily nobody clipped through that bridge. I did yesterday see the first time I've seen it. It could have happened, obviously, but in a race I was commentating, somebody did clip through the bridge there, and it was very unfortunate.
I have seen that before. I've had my share of clips. Chris runs. Oh, he's got a good frog going on. He's able to land on the edge of the water, saving a tiny fraction of time.
Oh, yeah. One thing you kind of get in all these fade-ins, you kind of have control of Mario before you see him, including with that frog. So that frog's actually moving at full speed as soon as you see it. So you just do a quick jump there. And both of our runners, or sorry, not both of them, but Chris is going to opt to go right there. You can do a very tricky, okay, so both of our runners are opting for the right side. Very safe, do not blame them. Going left side there is probably, in my opinion, one of the hardest and precise jumps in any percent. So.
I've never been able to do it, and I have tried.
It is so hard.
Looks like Chris has an extremely good topper fight right there.
Yeah, clean from both of our runners there. xwater actually gaining. It looks like he was a little bit farther behind when he got to the switch, but now he's pretty much in the same cutscene as Chris here. So.
Chris had a small mishap getting onto the platform, and he paused when he thought he was skipping a cutscene, so he lost a couple of seconds there.
Oh, yeah, we've definitely all done that 100 times probably. I always do that a lot with the dino skip, which we'll be see coming up here very shortly. I always pause it way too soon.
Yeah.
I think the worst ones are like Ruin Kingdom or Lake Kingdom, where you think there's a cutscene to skip, but there isn't.
Looks like they're only separated by about 3 seconds. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
It also seems like we have Chris's split timer on hand.
Yeah. Let me, I'll yell it out.
Both of them getting a nice good. Hope xwater does not run into this chain chomp. Could he phase through? He did. All right. So that first bit goes pretty well for both of them, but now we're coming up to the real meat of the Cascade Kingdom, which is first off the dino skip, which is a huge skip that basically you can't really run this game without doing. It skips pretty much the entirety of the Cascade Kingdom, bringing you directly to the boss.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a frustrating trick when you're first starting out in this game, because it just feels so inconsistent. Obviously, you're going to see our runners, they're going to take control of his big old T-Rex and try to get it to jump off his very tiny trampoline. So we'll see if each of our runners get it first try here. Looks like Chris is up in the air. He's just got one more, and he's into that cutscene. Water's up in the air.
It's looking good, yes.
Good. So very nice first try from both of our runners there. It's always nice to see that trick being one of those where if you mess it up the first try, good luck having a good lineup for the second try.
Let's see. Chris does not opt for the hat trick. xwater is going to try it right here. Oh, and he pulls it off nicely.
Yeah, so what we saw from xwater there is he's throwing his hat out, right? Because with his chain chomp, we can jump on it to stop it, and then we have to knock its hat off, as we see there from xwater. So you can kind of get that in one motion where your hat's coming back to you and you jump on it. So as you can see, that is quite a bit faster than not doing it. So xwater, although he came into this boss fight a few seconds behind, he's practically lined it up now.
Yeah.
So
Chris had an unfortunate miss on, he didn't land on the chomp the second time around, and he ended up taking a little bit of damage as well, so that was not a big loss, but clearly it's enough to get this race in xwater's favor.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you'll kind of see that as a it's kind of a theme with all of the bosses, except for the exception of one, but that's way later in the run. There's kind of a way to skip a phase in every single boss, except for Ruin Kingdom. And pretty much it just comes down to well-timed jumps, and you can kind of speed up all these boss fights.
I think it's really cool that a lot of these bosses, there's skips built into them by design. So Nintendo was thinking about how these sort of things could be used and manipulated, and that's really awesome to see.
Yeah, definitely. I think Nintendo kind of, in my opinion, I'm no game designer, but they kind of figured out that, nobody really likes grinding boss fights. Let's get those out of here.
No, absolutely not. All right, xwater extends his lead by just about a second or so. I wonder exactly how far apart they are. We'll be seeing in a second. About 1.5 seconds apart. Pretty good. Still anyone's game.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of run left. We're only actually, I've never counted how many kingdoms there are in this game, but there's plenty left. So
I think there's 14 kingdoms that they go through in this run.
Yeah, I just opened up my splits and had to check for.
Yep.
So those are kind of one of the shorter two kingdoms in the run, and now we're gonna be coming up on one of the kind of the longer ones. And while there's not a whole lot of peril kind of in this kingdom, really there's only one risk of death, I would say, and that's Jaxi Ruins. But this kingdom, while being very route different, we're probably going to see a different route from both of our runners, even when it comes down to the small movement options and all of that stuff. But it's kind of just a lot of kind of technical tricks to string back to back to back. So very flashy, but a lot of room for time loss here.
Absolutely. I've been seeing some of the expert tricks that people are doing, and just there are so many that are so difficult to pull off.
So already we're going to actually see a route difference here, while Chris Runs is going to get this bird first, as xwater gets it after the other moon. Really, I don't think there's much of a time difference there at all, if any, and both of our runners are going to be back down into this pipe.
I've actually never seen that before.
Yeah, I think that a little bit of an older system. I know when the game was relatively new, jumping off that cactus was kind of the flair, but whether or not you get that bird early it does really factor into a Sand Kingdom later, because that bird is kind of on a cycle which only resets on certain loading screens. So both of our runners coming up to the top of the dune here. So xwater taking a few ground pounds there is going to definitely give Chris Run some time back. That ground pound at the top of that hill, there's really no cue for it. It's kind of just a feeling.
You just got to be really good with. Oh no, Chris! Oh, you failed to get up here.
That like I said, you're not really risking death in any of these jumps here. But like we see from Chris there, sadly, mistiming a jump, you do kind of have to reset and lose a significant amount of time. But no, definitely not over by any means. One small mistake there, not a big deal at all.
No, not at all. Just a couple of seconds lost with each time. Like you said, there's only one opportunity to lose a huge amount of time, and we'll be seeing it later.
Chris is going to get back up there on that pillar. So both of our runners, unfortunate block there from...
he's going straight for the wall.
But if he does get this bullet bill manipulation here, he will save a little bit of time. xwater, or both of our runners, really wanting to keep the very first bullet bill that spawns alive. And sadly, both of our runners having it crash into the wall.
That is much harder than it looks.
Yes, you got to have very precise movement. And xwater grabbing that checkpoint while he's in the bullet bill. But I've only ever seen 2 runners do that. So just kind of a personal preference thing there.
Maybe I should adopt it. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a Jaxi Ruins kind of safety thing or if he's going to teleport after the Sphinx here, but we'll see.
My assumption was that he was going to teleport, which is sort of solves the problem I've been trying to figure out in my runs.
Right on, right on.
We'll
Yeah,
find
and that's one thing I love about Sand Kingdom and Odyssey altogether. Is just there's so many options a runner can take, and it's really not too big of a difference in time. Consistency is probably one of the most important things in a race. So.
Looks like they're both going into the Sphinx here, which doesn't surprise me because you can pick up a whole lot of coins in here, and coins are absolutely vital for a couple points later in the run.
Oh yeah, definitely. In this any percent route, or what I see most runners do, we're gonna buy 2 moons in this run, one in Wood Kingdom and one in Lake Kingdom. So coins are something that you just have to be factored in the whole time. You got to make sure you get to both those kingdoms with at least 100 coins. So now I don't believe I saw xwater go underneath the wall like we see Chris doing here. So again, Sand Kingdom being just one of those areas where there's a bunch of moons to get, and really there's no limit on how we get the moons or where we get the moons. We just need to get a certain amount.
So he's got 1 extra moon here that he needs to get, and is he going to go for the trees, the notes in the trees?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he will. I think that's really the only option he has because he did get the bird early, so the bird won't be kind of just getting a little too friendly with that cactus there.
Right. So yeah, we say the bird because the bird basically we can grab it in 2 places. We can grab it on top of the tower early on, or we can grab it here in the oasis at the end of the level.
Yeah, grabbing it early is a little bit safer because obviously you do have the option later on to grab it in the oasis. Sadly, if he didn't go for it obviously, but if xwater was planning to get the bird late in the oasis and he missed it, he wouldn't really have a backup. So getting it early there is definitely a very safe option, very quick option.
There's Chris. You can see on Chris's screen the bird just flew by. That's your second opportunity for picking it up. Meanwhile, xwater, nope, looks like they're both done, and Chris is going to warp back to the Odyssey.
Yeah, very. xwater does have a little bit of a lead here, but practically half a cutscene's worth as Chris is going to get the orb himself and watch the Odyssey power up, and they're going to be off to Lake Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Lake Kingdom, Sound?
I'm thinking there. I was thinking that xwater is 9 seconds ahead, but
that's what I'm thinking about Lake Kingdom too.
Lake Kingdom is, I don't know, for me it is like a bit more of a relaxing part of the run because it's not like timing isn't as critical. You're not going to miss something if you screw up your timing, and it's pretty short. So it's a place generally where I just sort of cool my head a little bit and take a bit of a load off.
Yeah, definitely. Just like you said, there's no real crazy tricks. I think probably the only trick that can lose a lot of time is the cheap jump. But even then, you can get a quick backup and only lose 3-4 seconds. So
let's see. How is xwater going to pull off this jump? Oh. All right, so there are basically 2 ways of jumping over this giant wall. We're about to see xwater do a triple jump.
We'll see if Chris goes for it as well. And now grabbing a zipper there that we see, both of them are going to go for the triple jump. You can do a hat vault there where you throw your hat and then run into it. And just again, our runners, showing off, they're going to do the movement that they're comfortable with. And that's very important here in the race.
xwater grabbing a cheap. He's going to get the next few moons here, and then he's going to just launch his way up to the boss.
Yeah, that the cheap here is, obviously we only need a few moons here in Lake Kingdom, and a lot of them are underwater. So fish are fast. Why not grab a fish, huh?
Yeah, they swim pretty well, as it turns out.
Yeah, so, it's almost like they're made to be in water or something.
So here's something that is really interesting to me. On xwater's screen, you can see the camera moving as Mario picks up the moon. I think that's the only time in the game where you can do that, manipulate the camera during that animation.
I want to say you're correct, and I've never really thought about that, but you're right. I always move my camera there, but I never thought that it is the only one. As both of our runners are coming here up on Rango. Again, we just want to jump on his hat as soon as it allows us. while most of the bosses in this game are not very hard, the one downside to that is missing any of these jumps loses quite a bit of time because it'll go into a cycle that you just don't want to see, and you got to kind of react. And if you don't react quickly, you just got to wait on the whole cycle, losing quite a bit of time. But both of our runners showing off a very clean Rango fight there, keeping this race again pretty much half a cutscene difference here. So.
Yeah, no problems at all there. It's a pretty straightforward kingdom.
Yeah, I think we only need 8 moons there, and 3 of them come from the boss, so it's definitely one of the shorter kingdoms in the run.
It's a solved kingdom, I want to say, because like we know everyone does the same route. We know exactly how to make this as fast as possible.
Yeah, definitely been kind of solidified for a very long time there.
Like whoever is asking in chat, was he moving the camera during the moon get cutscene? He was. Like you can tilt the camera during lots of different cutscenes, but as far as I know, that particular moon get is the only time where you can just freely move the camera and keep it in place when you're done moving it.
All right, both of our runners are now going to be off to the Wooded Kingdom. This kingdom being one of the longer ones, we need quite a bit of moons in it. But also one thing I love about Wooded is it really kind of showcases all the movement options we have in this game. Whether rolling, triple jumps, roll cancels, and a very nice bunny there from xwater. Grabbing that bunny before it can do even half a cycle there is very good. So.
Yeah, it's very impressive. And Chris also gets a very good bunny.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice for both of our runners. That bunny pretty much put in the game to troll you. So grabbing it quickly is very important.
Someone says, do you know of any runners who do Wooded Kingdom before Lake? No, I've personally never seen it.
I have seen one. Jay Cool prefers to do Wooded before Lake.
That's interesting. Is there any particular reason why?
Maybe just to make it hard on the commentators. I don't know. I'm just kidding. He's a good guy. I'm just giving him one. I'm not sure. Maybe he set his splits up that way the first time. I'm not sure.
I don't know. In any case, you can see they just both bought their first moon. That's one of 2 they're going to get. And so Chris runs. It looks like he's already got 100 coins on hand. xwater is a little bit short. I guess he did not get the coin chest on top of the Jaxie Ruins. So he's a little under.
Yeah, but still has plenty to get enough coins by the time we get to Snow. So as long as he doesn't have any unfortunate deaths here, a death does lose you 10 coins. He should still be on par to have enough coins.
He should. Though dying is not the worst thing that can happen to you in the Wooded Kingdom. If you fall in the wrong place, then you're really in trouble.
Yes. As we see on the xwater screen here, the pit that's in front of him now, falling there will put you down into the deep wood, as Sound Defense says, and it's a significant time loss. Like, I'm not sure how much time it loses. I would imagine somewhere around the 2-minute mark. xwater makes it over just fine.
xwater did not go into the water.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he is aware of that. So one thing we do see is runners will do this different route change, but is that checkpoint xwater got earlier, usually that's where it turns around and you go back to where Chris is now. So I don't know if xwater is maybe he's got something we don't know about, or just maybe mixing up his routes here.
Maybe, or else in the worst case scenario he just completely forgot. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping isn't the case, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, the water run did just happen on Chris Run's screen, and I think I forgot to say anything about it. But it can be a really tricky and difficult path through the water.
Yeah, making it through there without taking damage, which is the most optimized way to do it. You got to be you pretty much cannot make a mistake in that room to pull that off. So definitely. And also there's a small chance for dropped inputs in there, as it is a very laggy room with all of the fuzzies and water. Now xwater is definitely gonna have to show off some backups here if he did forget to grab those moons.
Did you see if he got the checkpoint flags? If he did, then it's
did. He did.
He could just warp back there after beating Spewart then.
Yeah, it's just we're gonna find out. Sadly, hopefully he catches it before he goes to the Odyssey, because you will have to watch the Odyssey take in all the moons, and then you'll find out that you don't have enough, and you got to go get more and watch that cutscene again. So
chat is telling us that this is in fact his intended route, so I guess we're gonna see what happens. And something's going on. I have not seen this before. What is he?
Gotcha. So
wow.
so he's choosing to warp after. Okay, this is actually very kind of, I would call it innovative. There is a checkpoint right next to the boss, so he's choosing to make this route change here. Really kind of just showing off his own style there. One of the things I love about SMO the most. And here we do see xwater in the pipeway. Making a mistake anywhere here causes you quite a bit of time. See if you can get this damage list. And it looks like he does, so very nice there from xwater. That again, pretty much having to be perfect in there.
No, he can just warp his way right out of the water room, and it looks like they're going to get to the boss at almost exactly the same time.
Yeah, very nice wooded from both of our runners here so far. So now we're off to the Spewart fight. Again, just like all the other brutal fights, we just want to jump on it as soon as it allows us. We kind of just skip through these cycles.
All right, xwater is just hitting the hat off of Spewart's head. Chris, it looks like he tried to jump, but didn't quite get it the first time around. Oh, wow. Yeah, the second time there, that's what he wanted to do the first time, but he ended up taking a bit of damage and losing a little bit of time.
Both of our runners definitely keeping it very close here. I don't think there's been more than a 9-second difference, like you said, between both these guys. So that's what I always like to see.
Yeah, it looks like they're about 3-4 seconds apart now. The gap is starting to close.
And we're going to be off to Cloud Kingdom. Cloud Kingdom, not recently, but not too long ago, went through quite a big change. We'll see if any of our runners opt into these really quick Bowser strats, which can be quite risky, where you can well time some backflips and be in the right spot, and throwing your hat at the right time. So all those things got to come together, and you can get some pretty quick cycles.
But if you screw it up, you can take damage, and I've heard you can even soft lock the game doing this.
You can. I have seen soft lock.
Oh boy.
Yes, very unfortunate. But
I wonder if either of them are going to try and do it. I imagine at least one of them will.
Oh yeah. Kind of one of the. We'll see if any of our runners go for the quick first hat here. Very impressive to see. Now, the most important thing about this Bowser fight is that you're not too close when you grab the hat, unless you're going for the quick strat, and you're not too far away when you grab the hat. xwater going for just the safe strat here. Looks like both of our runners are going for the safe first hat. So we'll see if you can grab that hat as soon as Bowser throws it, be right up in his face, and save a few seconds there. But again, very risky, and if you mess it up, you got to watch another cycle. So looks like xwater is going for just kind of the standard way here. Again, you don't want to be too close, and you don't want to be too far away. That's the most important thing with this Bowser fight, as both of them are getting.
Sorry about that. Normally, basically, you're supposed to hit the hat and pick it up immediately, and then Bowser hops around a little bit and then throws projectiles. But what you can do, you can use your hat to hold Bowser's hat in place, and then if you grab it at just the right time, you can immediately start punching him and skip that phase.
Yeah, definitely. If any of our runners were to get the hat on top of their head too early, Bowser, like you said, would jump away, and it wastes like 8 seconds or something ridiculous like that, and it's not fun.
Looks like a pretty clean fight from both of them, though, and now we're on to the Lost Kingdom, where things can really get hairy if you end up screwing up.
Lost Kingdom, unlike Sand Kingdom, we're also first we're stringing all of these really kind of technical tricks together here, like we're going to see xwater do. He's going to try to get a triple jump. Ooh, just missing it. Just going to have to kind of back it up a little bit. It's just a series of all of these rather technical tricks. And sadly, messing this up is going to give the lead back to Chris. As Chris did get the meme dream jump there first try. And while we're doing all of these tricks, there's, you know, there's purple Kool-Aid all around, which is an instant kill. And Chris scaring me a little bit there. As well as X.
These guys. Normally in this kingdom, you're supposed to walk forward a little bit, and then a bird comes and takes your hat, and it's a huge time waster. But if you go the long way around like these guys are doing, you can skip that entirely.
Yeah, so you're going to see them run up and trigger this bird from behind, which, like you said, will skip all of that stuff. But of course, now if any of our runners die after they've triggered that, they have to re-trigger it. So a death here, and death is all around this place, as you can see, is extremely costly. Probably, I would say one of the places where a death costs you a significant amount of time.
If you die right before the very last moon, it's possible to recover and not have to go all the way around. We'll see if that even becomes necessary.
It looks like both of our runners got that block break on the first try. Or I'm not sure if Chris did, but Chris did take damage. Maybe he didn't, because he did lose some time there. So.
He took a little bit of damage, but he did break the blocks the first time.
Okay. Gotcha. But,
now
so we're... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say there are different moons you can take here. Each one of them took a different one, which is interesting. And now...
Yeah, this is one of the scariest moons in the game. You can't take an intended death there, which it looked like Chris did. He's got plenty of coins, so he doesn't have to worry. But it's going to warp him back to the Odyssey. It only loses like 1 second to 2 seconds if you don't warp. Or, I'm sorry, if you don't die and you have good movement back. But both of our runners staying extremely close here, practically frame by frame here.
Yeah, they are about a ½ second apart now. This is really crazy to see.
Yeah, definitely what I like to see, keeping this exciting. Now we're going to be off to Dark Metro. What do you hate and love about Dark Metro sound defense?
Oh, there is so much to hate about Dark Metro.
There's a lot more to hate than to like, that's for sure.
There's basically like every screw up you make in Dark Metro has the potential to lose like 30 seconds to a minute if you do it in the wrong place. It's the harshest part. Oh
yeah. This kingdom kind of being, I was kind of think of it as like a platforming playground. All the kingdoms are in this game, but this one, you know, you're dealing with you're very high up, kind of bonking high up, loses a lot of time here, just because all these buildings are so high. And you're gonna see not the hardest trick, but a trick that they really want to get first try here off this bounce curtain, as I like to call them. And both of our runners get up there first try.
Oh, Chris, don't do that.
Some good reaction there from Chris to see that he didn't get the long jump, so he had to back up a little bit there.
Heart attack.
Yeah. Again, that being one of the places where if you do mess it up, that in that instance you would take a death there, but you also have to watch Mario fall for quite a long time. So
yes. Then you got to make your way back, which gives you more opportunities to bonk.
xwater getting a little friendly with that wall there. And now we're off to the City Hall climb is what most people call it. This being, we really want to stay on a cycle here, getting the very, Chris, both of our runners just missing that first cycle there. And Chris looks like he's going to take a death there.
Oh, no. Oh, boy.
Not the worst place to have it happen in Dark Metro, as you do just kind of spawn right back there. You won't be too far behind, but he does make the cycle this time, so that's what he wanted to do.
xwater had a little bit of difficulty climbing this pole, but he's still growing his lead here.
So it looks like xwater is going to opt into a little bit of a safer strat here. You can do that long jump straight back to this door that he just went through, but it's the camera really fights you on it. You have to be rather precise, and you got to know exactly how the camera is going to move there in order to pull it off. So we'll see if Chris goes for it here.
Right. I find the safest way of doing this is not what Chris is doing. Basically what I do, I just keep the camera pointed at the wall and dive directly toward it and then turn it. And usually it works out better.
Yeah, definitely. more than one way to pull that off, but Chris is going to do it, getting a little bit of time back versus xwater here, as both of our runners are coming up on the Mecha Wiggler fight. This being one of the only instances of RNG we'll see in this run, and it's very important that we kill this boss in 2 cycles, as going into a 3rd cycle loses a lot of time, but we'll see if our runners can get it here.
The xwater. This is another thing you can do in this boss battle is when this boss runs across the field, teleporting into walls, you can manipulate his walking speed, so not his walking speed, but his path, so that he walks as short a distance as possible, which saves some time.
xwater just needed one more orb there. This can be the hard, and he's gonna get it. So right there, we need to make sure we kill all those purple orbs before it goes invulnerable again. We'll see if Chris can get it here.
Yeah, that death definitely opened the lead up for xwater, which is unfortunate. Chris has got to get this to stay competitive in this kingdom. Ooh, this is
looks like an unfortunate overheat there for him. Sadly, shooting with the tank too quickly will cause that overheat. So he is going to have to go through another cycle here. Sadly, this is something we didn't want to see, but again, there's tons of run left. We're only halfway through this run, so definitely plenty of time to make that back up.
I'm seeing in chat Chris's PB is 1:11:53, so these two are extremely close.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, and both of them showing that off, that they pretty much stay in neck and neck here. Sadly, this fight does kind of set Chris behind a little bit, but again, far from over.
Right, nothing insurmountable. Like one bad Mecha Brutal fight can change everything.
Oh, don't get me started on Mecha Brutal. I wasn't ready for that yet.
Alright, xwater has made his way down to the city, and it looks like he is going to be playing with this little RC car. What's he going to do? Oh, he doesn't quite.
This being one of the areas that can, sadly makes you look kind of silly if you mess it up for too long. It always reminds me of, if anybody's seen the first Austin Powers, where he gets stuck with that golf cart in that hallway. I don't know, maybe I'm showing my age here. But anyways, it always reminds me of that, where you're just like backing up, going forward, backing up.
Alright, so let's see. Can he launch?
Ooh, a good bench there.
That was good.
Yeah, so we want to land next to that guy, because when Mario falls for too long, he'll get in this kind of hit lag or a landing lag animation, but landing next to that guy cancels it because it goes into the talking phase.
Right, and it looks like neither of them are going for the scooter skip, which makes sense because it's pretty finicky. Chris also having some trouble with this RC car.
Yeah, it's kind of pick what evil you want there, right? The scooter is kind of precise, but of course, messing up RC car, you gotta kind of react, and it's not easy to control that thing. Where one stick controls forward, backwards, and the other controls left and right. So, xwater doing a very nice ground pound roll there to get to that moon quickly. Honestly risky. So.
Chris also gets a perfect bench while we're at it.
Oh yeah, definitely something we like to see there. I know a bad bench friend, ruins the run, right?
Oh, it does. Just you can't be friendly after that.
As xwater goes for another ground pound roll there. That one being not so risky. As long as you line yourself, as long as you're facing that moon, you pretty much go right at it. So
that's pretty impressive, I gotta say. We can see here Chris runs try and get the super tall dumpster one. If you screw this one up, it's a long way down. But nope, he's got it fine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just helping the city out there, taking out that trash for him.
xwater moving into the crowded people room, which can be difficult if you don't know the super secret strat to make it way easier. Which
we can't tell the people about that. We gotta keep that to ourselves.
No, this is a secret, everybody watching.
It's a secret to everybody. As Chris is going to be climbing the tower himself there, showing off some fancy movement there to get up to the top of that, as he just needs to go jump over the pool, and then he'll be into the crowded room himself after just 2 moons here. And xwater is going to come over here to talk to Pauline, and then we're going to just get the last 3 moons that we need and be out of Metro Kingdom here, and we're going to be coming shortly up to everybody's favorite Base Fest.
That's right. Everyone get your emotes ready.
That's what you gotta love about these runs, right? These races. You get 2 free tickets to Base Fest.
Oh, very nice. Just be careful, but I don't know how to make this joke work, but I know what you're talking about. something dams.
Good old OTEP. Well,
I just gotta pound this spider thing. Little piece of the Mecha Wiggler that survived. There's a moon hiding in it. Yay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Chris over here, he's going to talk to Pauline, who is looking for musicians. Now, can anybody here see a musician anywhere at all?
I don't know how she...
Oh, dang.
I've never seen one, that's for sure. That drummer just teleported there, I swear.
He came out of nowhere. Joking aside, xwater is now done with Metro Kingdom. Picked up 20 moons, which is the most out of any kingdom. So this is a pretty long stretch, but he's gotten through it without much mishap.
Yeah, honestly, with Dark Metro aside, everybody, both these runners, Light Metro, have been pretty clean so far. So it's always nice to see. And I didn't check xwater's coin count, but he should be fine. He's going to be off to the Snow Kingdom now, which is another kingdom we do need coins for. So kind of the one thing that's kind of dreadful about Snow Kingdom is all of the ground is kind of hilly, right? So it's kind of hard to roll around on. So it's definitely easy to bonk all over the place here. So
his navigation is tricky. And when I last looked, he had about 124. Yeah, there we go. So he should be fine.
And, yeah. So we just both of these guys have run this a million times, so they know where they're going through this blizzard here. But we want to go find this stranded Captain Toad over here and see if our runners... Ooh, xwater was trying to not break Toad's igloo there, but he did break it. So I fear Toad will not make it through the night. But hey, we got our moon. We're getting out of there.
I always try the same thing. I've never succeeded.
I say me if I pull it off without breaking any of the snow, as soon as I turn around it breaks. I don't know why that happens. You notice?
That's very weird. Can you collect some of the normal power moons in Dark Metro like Captain Toad? Most of the power moons that are present in Light Metro are not present in Dark Metro. There are only a handful of exceptions, and they wouldn't be very quick to get.
Yeah, like the one we get after we take out the trash on that big tower. The moon we get directly after that is there in Dark Metro, but it's out of the way to get it in Dark Metro. So let's see if Chris... ooh, no, he does not care about that igloo at all. He's going to say, hey, I want my moon. I'm out of here.
Captain Toad will be fine. He's been in worse places.
Let's hope so.
xwater just bought his second moon of the run, and now he does not have to worry about coins at all, so deaths are only wasting time.
Jumping up here on this bridge, grabbing this moon, and we'll see. All right, he's going to go for the long jump here. We don't see this too often anymore. Most runners will tell you it's pretty much the same time. You can't just kind of roll around to get over here, but
yeah,
grabbing this...
Like I said, he did lose a little bit of time setting it up, so it might not have been worth it.
And now xwater is going to be off to the Blowy Joey room. Definitely a fan favorite.
He's making good time.
A very nice jump off that block there, keeping the momentum of that Blowy Joey as it blows it across the room there. Messing that up is pretty much dying because you're going to hit the Blowy Joey and fall into the Kool-Aid. He's got to wait for his hat to come back there.
Yeah, that hat is in better days. I have not seen that particular blow strap before, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really flashy. Always nice to see. As we can see here, Chris is going to just roll around. Again, those being pretty much the same amount of time. Chris is probably being a little bit faster over xwater's because xwater did kind of, like you said, have a little slip up there, setting it up.
Right, so this kingdom and the next kingdom, each one has 10 moons, but the Snow Kingdom is substantially slower because there are so many cutscenes that you have to watch while picking these moons up.
So many, man. All over. Ooh, Chris scared me a little bit there, but not a problem. He's gonna.
Yeah. Didn't get the really good jump, of course, because he missed that up.
And then we're gonna actually be off to the Goomba room as we see xwater here, taking a little bit of damage. Only gonna lose him a few seconds there. But Snow Kingdom has all these rooms that are, you're either surrounded by death or you're running around on ice. So very easy to slip up and waste a bunch of time. So and then we got one more scary long jump here from xwater. It looks like he's gonna take a little bit of a safer option there. You can go from the middle platform all the way over there, but don't blame him for that. Again, falling in there sucks.
Yeah, that was a bit scary. I was afraid he was going to bonk into the giant icicle.
Yeah. So Snow Kingdom, tons of room for error in it. So nice to see both of our runners kind of flying through here, to be honest with you.
That room is really interesting to me because that particular jump, what you're supposed to do is go all up and around and make the icicle drop, but it's really extremely easy to just do some cap jumps across. And it's
yeah, you pretty much make it across.
Widen that gap a little bit.
Now it's xwater taking looks like he got a little bit more height than he was expecting out of that wind tunnel there.
But there we go. xwater is just finished up the Snow Kingdom. Chris Runs is trying to go for the really long jump.
And he gets it. Very nice. So definitely gaining a little bit of time there back on xwater, which is something he definitely needs to do here. He just needs one more moon. He is like one room behind, but again, we're far from over here, guys. The last few kingdoms being, in my opinion, the biggest time wasters. So
I would agree there for sure. It's hard being one moon behind in the Snow Kingdom because every moon takes a long time to get.
Yeah, they're very far in between here in Snow Kingdom. But Chris definitely staying in this race for sure. And he can save that. Okay, very good reaction there from Chris, scaring both me and Sound Defense, as you heard. That's a death. That's a death there if you fall. If he didn't get back up top there.
xwater, he's made it to the Seaside Kingdom. He's gonna make a bit of a difficult jump here, and I don't think he's. Oh wow!
Oh my goodness, he got it. So that jump being there, we kind of see that style of jump 3 places in this run. There, Metro Kingdom, and the very first jump in Luncheon Kingdom. All of 3 of those jumps, you need to get very good height off of your cap dive in order to make it up there. So.
Yeah, how do you get different heights off of your cap dive? I guess it has something to do with timing.
Yeah, so if you throw your hat and instantly dive onto it, you'll jump off of the edge of it. But Mario gets more height off of his hat if he jumps off the middle of it, which one way you can tell is if you got a good cap dive is it'll spark off your heel when you jump off your hat. So really all you got to do is throw your hat and delay it just the slightest amount, and you'll land in the middle of your hat instead of the edge. As we see Chris there getting up there just fine too. So very nice from both of our runners.
Very interesting. xwater, he's getting one of the moves that isn't too bad, but if you screw it up, it is pretty embarrassing. Swimming back to shore to try it again.
Yeah. And we kind of brushed over it when xwater was in it, but the next moon Chris is going to be getting can really troll you pretty hard because your depth perception is kind of your enemy in that room. The game kind of goes into this 2D 0.5 camera view that you see here. So it's hard to tell if you're forward or backwards. You see Chris there making sure that he's got a good lineup and grabbing that moon very quickly. So it's very nice.
Easy. xwater, meanwhile, he is a cheap, and he will be a cheap for the rest of this level. I think is the final 6 moons you all collect as a fish. Lots of time underwater.
Oh yeah, and if you're not, I know a lot of runners probably don't grind Seaside too often, so you can you know, it's one of those places that you can lose a lot of time underwater with fish bonks or, you know, just taking damage. So it's definitely not something you want to sleep on either.
Right.
All this
xwater
evil seaweed.
Yeah, it can be pretty trolly in my experience. Ooh. Thought he was gonna do that whole thing blind, but nope, he's easily gets into the cave and he gets the final moon of the Seaside Kingdom.
Yep. And just like you said earlier, you know, we only needed the same amount of moons we needed in the snow, but we're at our Seaside way faster. Just as the sound effect said. So.
Yeah. Now, Chris, he was 1 moon behind in snow. Now he's 4 moons behind, and it's roughly the same amount of time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. One, the fish is very fast underwater, and we don't have those silly cutscenes. So.
Yeah, and all these moons are like right next to each other.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was very happy to see when this route. It happened forever ago, but when this route came out, I liked Seaside so much more.
I bet.
And we see there that seaweed is just awful. And we didn't touch on it, but every time you take damage and grab a moon, you gotta watch your health refill, right? So that loses time, not only for taking the damage, but because you gotta watch that silly animation. So. And now we're going to be off to a luncheon kingdom here. So watch this very first jump xwater's got to do. There's a million ways to do it, but it's very important that he gets good height off of his cap jump. So we'll see if he gets it here. Very nice there from xwater getting that first try. That being way more precise than it looks. So.
See if Chris Runs can pull it off just as easily. That's one that gives me a lot of trouble. Then again, I did not know about timing your hat bounce before today, so
yeah, until I found that out, I was like, how is this even possible? But yeah, you'll see that you get good height. There'll be a spark off of Mario's heel. So yeah, so xwater getting into his Spirit refight here, just the same as Void Kingdom. It's a different arena.
Yeah, and normally he bounces around the arena after you hit him, and because of the differently shaped arenas, it makes for a different fight, but for us, it's literally no different.
So very clean there from xwater, as Chris, we'll see if he can get this jump just as easily. Looks like he's going to go for a triple jump variant here. Very nice. He didn't get a lot of height off of his cap jump there, but doing it with the triple jump gives him a little bit more wiggle room. As it is slower because you do got to line it up and get the triple jump going, but definitely a safer option there.
Either way, you do not have a lot of wiggle room with that jump. It's punishing and precise.
Yeah, and you're bonking kind of high up, so you bonk, and then you got to watch Mario fall, and you got to go reset, kind of just do these short walk of shames.
I wonder what routes these two are going to take through the kingdom. There are 2 different ways you can go depending on which of the bonus rooms you want to get into.
What? Yeah, so me personally, I just started doing forks. I don't know. I definitely don't like it as much as Podoboo, but, you know, I've heard it's faster, so, you know, I'm definitely a glutton for speed, so. Is xwater showing off some fancy movement there, rolling on that, I don't know what this blue stuff is, but rolling on it with all of these weird, you know, angles and stuff like that is not easy, so definitely props to him for even going for that.
That was impressive. Oh, he's going for cans!
Oh, yeah, definitely showing those cans to his boss. Run's not over without a few cans kicked.
Love those cans. Shame the forks is faster because I just learned how to do Podoboo really well, and I don't want to give it up.
Me personally, I might go back to Podoboo just because I'm so much more consistent with it. But you know, and one thing a nice Kobe there from xwater. So
downtown.
Oh yeah, pretty much getting that off camera.
Yeah, there are 3 golden turnips in this level. Each one gives you a moon if it goes into the pot.
Now, do you think either of our runners will be doing the new cheese clip? Are you familiar with that?
I'm really not very familiar with it at all. So
it's very new. Like I think it was discovered the week GDQ was going on, but we'll touch on that when we get there. As Chris is getting some nice movement to get up to that moon as well. So Luncheon Kingdom kind of being like another kind of like platforming playground. There's all these weird shapes and weird angles that you kind of really just gotta show your own styles. xwater is gonna go to Fork's room here. We'll see how he handles it. A lot of motion control inputs needed here to do this efficiently. So.
Oh wow. This is going pretty well, gotta say.
Very nice there. He's just got one more kind of tricky jump, and then he's good to go.
Chris misses the dunk into the pot, unfortunately.
All right, nobody saw it.
Someone asked, why is xwater's timer gone? It was never there. Or no, wait. His timer is there. It's just in the corner of his screen.
All right, now we're going to see some really swag movement here from xwater, doing these damage boosts to get over here. Yeah, we're probably going to see Chris. I don't see that from many people because personally, I do think it loses time over the Podoboo because you do have to watch your health tick back up. But again, you know, swag is important in this run. So
swag is important. It builds confidence.
Oh yes, xwater definitely showing off some fancy tech there. Now the new skip that we probably not going to see is you can do this really strange clip with this Panbro to clip into this cage that we're about to see get busted open, and you don't have to break that cheese to do it. But it's again very new. So I mean even myself, I haven't even started messing around with it, but one thing I love about it is it cuts that Panbro RNG out of it. Like, because you see there from xwater, you just got to throw a million pans and hope it hits the right cheese block. So.
Right. Well, looks like Chris just finished up Forks as well. We're not going to be seeing Podoboo room. And it doesn't look like he's going swag either.
You know, I don't blame him. As you saw, xwater only had 1 health left when he got out of there. So,
right.
Very risky, and I'm not even sure how much of a time difference it is, but Chris bonking a little bit there, but he's gonna get it just fine.
No big deal. xwater climbing up. There's a moon. The final, I guess, non-grand moon here is right in the tall mountains, and you got to be really precise with this pound, because if you miss this ground pound, you basically fall to your death. Which is really
important. You'll fall down in that pink stuff, and it's unless you're far enough to the left, there's really no recovery. And Chris getting trolled a little bit by that spiny there. The spiny was literally on top of the switch, so it wouldn't give him a hit. So again, another reason I'm glad to see that that system rounded out. Man, that was super troll.
That's pretty terrible. The thing I keep getting trolled by is that I hit the switch, and then I break the cheese, and then I try to get out, but whenever I throw my hat, it just lands on the Panbro again.
Oh, yeah, I hate that. And me personally, that's my least favorite moon in the game. So I was so happy to see that clip developed. So I gotta get on that.
For sure. Looks like xwater is now finished with Luncheon Kingdom. He is making some really good time here. Under 52 minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely very good from both of our runners, to be honest with you. As Chris again just needs one more moon, and then he's going to become meat and be on his way, as Chris is going to go for this triple jump. But very nice there. He didn't realize that he didn't get the height that he needed, so he just backed it up. So Chris really showing off some very nice reaction to say, like, hey, I didn't get it, so let's back it up. So
yeah. Good job to him. Looks like he's going to finish this up pretty cleanly as long as he doesn't bonk, which I don't see any reason why he would.
Commentator's cursed.
I've ruined him. You found me out. I'm on xwater's side. I'm trying to ruin Chris.
My goodness. So yeah, both of our runners finishing up luncheon there, and now we're going to be off to Ruin Kingdom. This was the boss I was talking about way earlier, that it's really the only boss we can't speed up. The most important thing about this boss is that you're available to pull the pins out of its face as soon as the game allows you. It's kind of it's really kind of like an auto scroller. There's nothing we can do to speed it up, with the exception of just being ready and being there at the right time, and you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's so little timing variation in this kingdom. It's like sometimes I feel like it's almost not worth practicing, because like the most time you can miss is only like a handful of seconds.
Yeah, as long as you don't you know, like as we see there from xwater, you just need to be, a lot of players will take a damage boost to be on top and be ready, or with just some good timing you can pull the pin out as soon as it's available, which there's no difference as long as you pull that pin out as soon as the game allowed you. So.
Yep, and there are a few different ways you can do that. You can take damage, or you can just have extremely good timing as you're making your way up there, and I've seen both.
Oh yeah, it looks like xwater is going for the damageless, so getting up there just in time.
Really nice, gotta say. For the record, we're looking at about a minute and 20 seconds difference, or at least we were when the Ruined Kingdom started.
xwater getting bullied a little bit here by these hula hoops. He's probably gonna go for a backup health here. He doesn't really need it, just taking it for safety. And that kind of did mess up his cycle a little bit there, but shouldn't lose too much time. Probably, I don't even know if that was a whole second that he lost there. So, like you said,
I do not think it was.
There's so little time to be lost on this kingdom as long as you're doing it half decent. So,
yeah, so that's pretty solid dragon from xwater.
as xwater grabs the moon, he's going to power up the Odyssey, and he's going to be off to Bowser's Kingdom, as I think Chris has just got one more cycle left, so...
I actually don't know.
No, he's got two left. He's got two.
Oh, yeah, he's farther behind. Oh, there we go. We've got xwater's timer up in its place now. Just runs. Is he gonna take? Oh, he did take damage, but it's not clear that that was the intention.
Yeah, it looks like he just wanted to be up one more level there. Didn't quite get the height that he needed. You kind of want to be on its the bridge of its nose there. He grabs that heart pretty much as he takes the damage, so it kind of cancels it out. But he's not in a really big fear here. 2 health is pretty much all you need to take this damage boost. And he's up there. Oh yeah, if one of these little purple guys jump at you, which you see him spawn there, definitely.
Nope, he's good.
Definitely can make you nervous, that's for sure.
Chris runs, finishes up the boss, and xwater enters the Bowser Kingdom.
Bowser's Kingdom has gone through quite a bit of route changes recently. There's a moon that xwater is skipping here. He'll probably opt to get one later on. Behind that wall, you can grab a moon. The thing about Bowser is we have to grab every story moon and then +2. xwater, I think he wanted a long jump there, but he just didn't quite get it. So
good backup strats though.
Yeah, definitely.
And a nice kill on this ogre.
So this kingdom being one of the easiest places to lose a significant amount of time. One, because the kill plane is very low on this, so if you fall off, you got to watch Mario fall for a while. And sometimes it gets like stuck on a wall and slides down. But again, this is really just like a gauntlet of platforming, and then you'll see bosses. There's 3 bosses in this level, so easy to lose a ton of time.
So he went through that first section pretty impressively. He went birdless, which I don't see very often climbing that first wall.
Very true, yeah. And it looks like he is gonna be all right. Some very flashy movement options there. Usually we see people come around this corner to grab that moon, but he says no, I'm doing it my way.
Oh no!
And just missing his hat there is what it looked like. I don't know if he got the checkpoint. Let's see where he spawns. Okay, he did get the checkpoint, so not a big time loss, but a time loss nonetheless. So
he still has those moon shards too, so
yeah,
I don't know, maybe like 10 seconds or so,
maybe a little bit more, but definitely painful, I'm sure. Definitely didn't give the lead back to Chris, but definitely gave him some time back, which I'm sure he's happy for. And he is going to go for Glory Hole here. Definitely a fan favorite. If there's any Pooh Bear subs in the chat, they can spam that Glory Hole emote.
We need to find another name for that before SGDQ.
yeah. Hopefully they don't call it that.
xwater, I'm thinking I don't know what his last moon is going to be. Is it going to be the one up here on the ledge, or is he going to go behind the wall during the final ascent?
You know, I bet he will grab this one here. That one behind the wall that you're talking about can be pretty treacherous.
Sure can. I've never tried it myself, but boy, it's just scary. Like like the bottomless pit underneath you. Yep, you're right. He is going for this one right here. And Chris runs over on the right. He is doing the route I normally see, where you initially head to the left. Oh, and he messes it up just a little bit. That's unfortunate.
Not too big of a time loss, maybe 4 or 5 seconds there, as he wanted to be up on the roof so he didn't have to climb around this corner.
Right.
And then we're going to see xwater actually refighting Topper here. Very precise boss fight that we see him do there. To skip these cycles, you need to jump on his hat as soon as it's available. And very nice fight there from xwater.
That was great.
Yeah, very, very clean, very awesome.
So immediately pick those hats right out. I always have trouble with that second one.
Oh yeah, that's one of those boss fights I practice for hours until and I'm still not comfortable with it every time I get there. I'm like, please, please, please.
So here's the very first time, the only time we see Harriet, which is a shame because this is my favorite boss. And ooh, he misses the first bomb.
Yeah, he's going for a little bit of a safer option here, which I don't blame him. We want to hit these bombs back at Harriet as soon as she throws them. You can either opt to do it before they hit the ground or after they hit the ground. So it looks like he's getting it right before they hit the ground. You can jump and hit them back before that even, but again, being very precise. Definitely you want to do something you're more comfortable with in this boss fight for sure.
Every bomb you miss, it's a handful of seconds lost. I'm not sure exactly how many. I think it changes.
Yeah, you're correct. And if you miss like 2 of those cycles in a row, it'll go into a very long cycle that you don't want to see. So
Chris is going for Harriet first, it looks like.
Yeah, no difference in time there which boss fight you do first. Just a preference thing.
Yeah, I noticed that Chris, he leaves the flag. He doesn't get it, which can be useful if you end up taking lots of damage in one of these fights, because hitting a checkpoint flag restores your health without losing any time.
Yeah, definitely a very just a nice optimization there. You know, a little bit of a safety in case you need to back it up a little bit.
xwater is starting the final ascent in the last area of this kingdom.
Yeah, very, very scary. As you see, there's these very thin platforms you got to jump around on. You're avoiding enemies and bombs and purple stuff. So definitely don't sleep on this section.
Nope, we'll see how quickly he can make it up to this wall. That's impressive. He's doing very well.
As Chris is starting his topper fight, we'll see if he can get these quick cycles here. Again, this boss fight being just missing it. So now he's gonna, I think he figured out which one it is. Or hopefully he knows. Okay, yeah, he got it. So sadly, we do get to see a little bit of an extra phase there from him. And it looks like he's gonna go for a little bit of he kind of got messed up there. Some of the hats didn't spawn because it was too close to the ledge, but it looks like he found out.
Looks like xwater, he manages to get birdless up the first phase of the Mecha Brutal, which is very nice to see.
Yeah, so once we're up here on top of this boss, the most important thing is that we stay up there. And then we're going to kind of avoid all these cycles, being able to hit the Brutals as soon as it allows us. It is invincible during this Rainbow Legs phase, so xwater making nice work there to stay on top.
See, this third brutal pound is my least favorite. It's the scariest one for me. It's, you know,
oh yeah, I agree. And it looks like he's gonna get it there, just like Sound Defense was seeing. That's really the only one you gotta hit while the Mecha Brutal's moving. So very clean, practically perfect, I'm sure, from xwater there.
I saw no mistakes.
Yeah, getting up there very first try and breaking all of those bubbles as soon as it allows you is very clean. So awesome mecha fight there from xwater, as Chris has just got to do one more bird climb section here, and then he's on his way to it himself.
Let's see what sort of timing we're looking at. We get 103.27. Just making some notes.
Roger that. That fight being really one of the it could have made the difference here if xwater would have fallen off on any of those phases. If you fall off during the rainbow legs phase, like right before it, I think you lose somewhere upwards of 30 seconds. So, or even more. So if depending on how fast you can back it up. So definitely not something we want to see, as Chris is going to go for a different version. No, he's not going to go for birdless here. Okay, he's going to grab the bird, kind of doing a little bit more of an intended route here.
Birdless is definitely a lot safer, though it is not nearly as fast.
Yes, very true.
Let's see.
As...
Wait, what? Was he supposed to...
All right, I don't know if he has the distance he needs. Oh, he's good. Okay, he wasn't wearing it.
Oh, man, you scared me, Chris. He waits a little bit for the mech to stop moving before he grabs Topper back there. It's a little bit safer.
All right, he makes it back on top. Just like you were saying, this next one's the hardest one in my opinion. So again, the most important thing is that we stay on top here. So.
Meanwhile, xwater has made his way to the final kingdom, the Moon Kingdom, which starts out pretty normal, but then we're gonna skip basically the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Looks like Chris is gonna wait the cycle out. Not going for the early hit here, as you do have an opportunity where it stops for a moment. But again, not being easy by any means. If you jump too late, the boss will knock you off and you kind of miss your opportunity. But very clean mecha from both of our runners there. Once they were on top, they stayed on top. So again, that's the most important thing. So.
Ooh, xwater takes a little bit of damage.
You know, he just wanted to get a little friendly with that. It's okay.
It looks pretty nice. I want to get to know it.
Yeah, maybe it was just hanging out. Going for the double flower shot here. Definitely a little bit quicker, as you do get to keep the extra speed a little bit longer. And we're going to be coming up on that skip here, that sound defense was talking about. We're going to try to get good height off of this jump here and see if he gets it. No, just not quite getting the angle that he needed. It's a rather precise spot that the first wall kick has to happen.
Yeah, I think he slid just a little bit too much on that first wall kick. Maybe this one. There we go.
He's up. All right, second try, yeah. So, nice skip there from.
Time difference between the two is about 2 minutes and 19 seconds. So, I think at this point, xwater has to meet with catastrophe if Chris is going to take this, unfortunately.
So we're going to see him come up on the next instance of fighting Bowser. Pretty much exactly the same as the first one, just more fire and more hats. Bowser may have been in the gym, you know, beefing up a little bit for his wedding. So.
That first cycle right there is a lot harder to get than you may think. You have to make sure you do a long jump, or else you're not going to get to the hat and to Bowser in time. Yeah,
definitely something I learned the hard way when I first started running this game. It's like, how do you do this? This being one of the additions they added to this Bowser refight. Just a silly fire cycle. You just wait it out, and then you're back to catching hats. So just the same as this is going to be one of the instances where you grab the hat too early and you're not in range to start punching Bowser beforehand. So loses a little bit of time, but backing it up very quickly.
Only about a handful of seconds lost. I find this interesting is that if you get, if you do that that Bowser phase perfectly, he will land on a different platform than he started on. But if you screw it up, he will land back on the same platform. I don't know what that means.
Actually, he will jump to the platform that is the most opposite of you. So, like, if xwater was standing farther to the left, he would have jumped to the platform to the right.
No, I mean that after you hit Bowser, he bounces off the wall and the platform he lands on.
Oh, got you. You know what? I never noticed that.
Oh, I don't know why I noticed these things. Chris gets a first try moon skip right there.
Yeah, definitely nice to see from Chris there. Definitely showing off some skill.
Meanwhile, xwater is about to enter the final phase of the entire game, which is the escape.
Oh yeah, definitely having one of the most famous skips in it. We'll see if xwater goes for it.
It is a skip like almost purely for swag. It saves like 2 seconds, and there's so much danger.
Saves 2 seconds, and most people call it a shortcut. I'm probably sinning by calling it a skip, but it saves 2 seconds and loses 45. So we'll see if you go for it.
It's not worth it in terms of time, but in terms of swag, it's very much worth it.
Oh yeah, and you know, swag is important. So it's coming up right here. He's gonna go for it.
Yeah.
It's the first try, so very nice from xwater there. That if you touch a wall, if you hit your head off anything there, you pretty much cannot react to the failure there. So you just fall in the pit and you got to start the sequence over again. So
even if he had though, he still would have had a decent lead on Chris. All right, chat, are you ready for anime?
Let's do it. Get some sour pleases in the chat.
So, right here. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it. I think we're gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, basically, you need to knock down the 4 pillars in this area to escape. So what a lot of people do is they will throw a few fireballs at the right pillar in order to prime it for later, and then they'll head left.
Yeah, just one of those small optimizations that can be had here. Now, hopefully it doesn't happen to any of our runners here, but it's happened to me, and I know a few others. As that last pillar falls, there's some crazy thing that happens where the game doesn't get rid of the wall that's around the middle, but it looks like xwater's fine. So you gotta, I can't even explain it, but it's very annoying and loses a lot of time as like the hidden wall around this middle part doesn't go away. So just one of those silly glitches that can happen. But xwater finishing up here with a very nice time. I'm not sure if he's gotten a PB since his last posted one, but according to the leaderboard, I do believe that is a PB for him. So
looks like it. SRL is saying that is a PB by 1 minute and 2 seconds, at least as far as races go.
Awesome. Well. So definitely an excellent showing from both of our runners so far. Some unfortunate mishaps, but no biggie at all, as both of them are going to be looking like to get under a 113 here, which is very impressive. Definitely something to be very proud of.
Yes, congratulations to both runners. They both had a great showing.
As xwater, I think he just got TD skipped there, right? I was looking at chat, all these peebs, but very nice there from Chris. So
I think you are right.
As he's going to be heading off to his anime section as well. So definitely no shortage on sweet escape sequences here. And we'll see if Chris can get the shots on this pillar here. It can be rather hard to aim these shots. Chris seeing that he didn't quite get enough, he's going to just kind of go to the right. Not really a big difference in time, but again, if you can get that pillar halfway down while you're working on the left one, obviously it saves a little bit of time. 2 birds, 1 stone kind of deal. But again, shooting those fireballs are motion control, so you're trying to point Bowser in a correct position while you're shaking your controller. Those 2 things don't really go very well together, but just part of Odyssey here.
It's pretty tricky, and the camera is not helping you at all.
Yeah, the camera here sucks.
Alright, it looks like these 2 maybe they're gonna finish within a minute of each other. We will see.
Looks like they're gonna be about 2 minutes apart there.
Oh yeah, 2 minutes. My bad.
Just a little under 2. 1. We'll count on it 1. So I'll see if both these runners want to come chat about their run real quick.
Yeah, both 2 very excellent runs here. Well done to both of them. Those are both
that was
very respectable times.
Super exciting. That was literally neck and neck until they got out of, well, Lost Kingdom. It looked like they were on the same. I think it all went down. Sadly, it went downhill for Chris on Dark Metro, but he wasn't out of it until the very end there. So
Right. Yeah. There's like anything can happen in these races. So never count anybody out.
No, definitely until they blast out of that pylon at the end, it's definitely not over. We'll see if I see xwater in the waiting room, so we're just waiting on Chris. But xwater, if you're listening, go ahead and join.
Are we able to pull him in? Is that a thing that can happen? It looks like
there he is. Hey, what's going on, xwater? Congratulations on the W, and according to chat, that was a PB?
Yeah, that was a 59.7 second PB for me.
Woo, buddy.
Well done.
Feeling good, man. Yeah. I didn't expect to do like anywhere close to my PB time with like I was just at GDQ, and before that I wasn't playing a lot of Odysseys, so I was de-rusting all week, and I had one run that was in the 111s, and I guess not reading chat just made it like a lot easier to focus.
You kind of just dial in on all of those. Hey, what's going on, xwater? Congratulations on the W, and according to chat, that was a PB?
Oh, no, yes, indeed, all of this.
Looks like we're getting some...
Yeah, I think I've been experiencing this, unfortunately. Yeah. As long as it sounds good to everyone else, it should be okay. Are we can you guys still hear me?
There we go. Okay, we just needed Feasel to, or whoever's in charge there, to cut this out. So we should be good now. xwater, you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Awesome. We were just getting a little bit of feedback there on since we were restreaming the Discord there. But you weren't running your normal splits there, right?
No, I was against my normal splits there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So any golds, or I always like to see what runners get.
Yeah, I actually had I started the run pretty good. I was ahead in Cascade. Sand I lost a little bit, but from then on I was saving time literally everywhere until Moon with a gold in Seaside and Bowser.
Ooh, really a golden Bowser's. You did have one unfortunate death there.
I had with the death I wasn't expecting it. Yeah.
It was probably one of the most fortunate deaths you could have because you just respawn right at that event, Moon. But... Exactly.
Yeah, it was pretty much like a 5 to 10 second loss for that death, which wasn't a huge deal. But I think the boss rush was really clean, and then the birdless boss fight. Like, I got the early cycle on the second hit before he was finished stepping, and I got the pre-spin hit on the third one. And then on the very last hit, I even got it before it even started, like, causing trouble and bouncing around. Because sometimes that one can cause trouble.
Yeah, it goes into the whack-a-mole phase.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like.
It's a great way to put it.
That's props to Spike Vegeta for coining that one.
Yeah, you capped off with just really fantastic, brutal fight there. Props to you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, really. Other than that one death, there wasn't really any kind of misfortune in your run. Your Forks room was phenomenal, by the way. I think there's.
Thank you. I've been practicing that one a lot.
There's really only one way to do that faster, so that was really nice to see.
Yeah, I have a lot of trouble getting that up throw to work well with the Pro Controller. So I went for a couple of the up throws, but I didn't want to like get too risky with it. So I was like, all right, I got one up throw in there. I'm going to do the rest safe styles.
Yeah, and sometimes you're like too close to the wall, so you do an up throw,
and you end up
just
hitting
throw it into the wall.
It's the worst, dude.
Yeah, so Forks room being a lot of motion control inputs needed, so it's always nice to see a clean Forks room from a runner. So.
Yeah, and with the mic not in my face while I'm running, I can like swing my arms around like a gigantic idiot without worrying about hitting anything. So it does make it a little bit easier.
Right on. So, obviously this was round 1. It looks like you're up against Mistaken in round 2. I don't even know when those races have to be done. Obviously, round 1 has to be done by tomorrow if anybody's following the bracket. So, expect a lot of races
just in time.
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely awesome to see you bust out a PB, especially after a GDQ vacation and all that stuff. It's hard to get that bust off real quick.
So have you guys seen Mystican? What's Mystican's PB? What am I going up against in the next round?
I know he took out Feinberg, so definitely don't sleep on him. That's for sure.
No, okay.
I feel kind of bad because I know him well. I worked with him. But I don't think I've seen him run this game before.
He's watching this interview right now, just like shedding a single tear.
Oh, he doesn't.
Sound Defense doesn't know who I am. I'll actually pull that up real quick. Yeah, I'm not sure when the deadline for round 2 is, but I'm sure we got plenty of time left. So
I think so. So you're going to go right back into the runs after this, or you're gonna rest your muscles, rest your head for a little bit?
Yeah, I actually, like, this was the tail end of my stream. I played like 5 hours of Phoenix right before this, so.
Nice.
And the chat is telling us that Mystican's PB is a 109.56.
All right, so about a minute ahead of mine.
Yes, but again, that's what, PBs are way different. I mean, obviously, you just got a PB in a race.
Yeah.
PBs are, not always the end-all to who's going to win a race.
It is 24 days ago, though. He might be sleeping on some, like, hotter peebs, sandbagging a little bit.
Yeah, one of those closet practitioners, huh?
Exactly. My plan for the next race is to learn the quicker strats for the Bowser fights for sure. I think that's like the biggest time save I can incorporate right now.
Only thing I can tell you about that is for me when I was learning that strat, just move your camera so that it's right over top of Mario, so you know exactly when you're over the hat. That helped me so much, but that's everybody find their way to do it.
Okay.
So, are you looking for like a certain goal time here in SMO, or are you just playing for fun? Just trying, obviously, doing your best in the tournament, but
yeah,
it's always nice to see like where runners want to like stop. They're like, I'll be content with a 109 or 108.
I would like to hit a sub 110, so not too far off. Not aiming for world record or anything, but I do want to like branch out to the other categories. I've just been focusing on the any percent because of the tournament, so. The 503 is one I'm really interested in, and all missions seems like it'd be a lot of fun to do. Like super long, but I feel like it'd be like just a fun, chill Saturday all-day stream type deal.
Yeah, it's not so much pressure to reset because it is a longer run, so there's a lot more time to,
Yeah, and I typically like to avoid resetting too much, so it's like kind of a nice way to go about it for me.
Definitely. Awesome.
Nobody likes world peace %.
Yeah, I don't want to touch world peace.
But real quick to go over the schedule, I do believe, unless one sneaks up here later on tonight, that is the last SMO race for the day. But if you guys are big fans of speed gaming or just speedrunning in general, stick around speed gaming because there's always stuff going on this channel. So definitely go give a follow to speed gaming 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I do believe it's 4 now. So. And definitely shout outs to xwater and Chris Runs. That was an awesome race. Like it was definitely exciting. You guys both exited Lost Kingdom probably within frames of each other. Like the cutscene was like almost lined up.
That's awesome. I love that it was a good race, man. And thanks to you guys for commentating and speed gaming and everyone for hosting it, man. I'm always so excited about all these tournaments and all the cool shit that happens on this channel.
Yeah, it's nice to see like the just the community really come together and just even if you're just watching, even if you're just a lot of the strategies in this game probably come from outsiders. Like, hey, I wonder if that works. You know what I mean? A lot of people who find strats.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So it's nice to see just that community around this game. So again, go give a follow to both these runners. They're both awesome. Definitely been around a while, and shout outs to Sound Defense for joining last minute with me to commentate this race. It was a pleasure.
Hey, no problem. This was fun. You're a great co-commentator.
No, you.
Wow.
I sense chemistry. All right, I'm gonna log off, guys. Thanks so much for hosting.
Yeah, definitely. And again, just one final shout out to Speed Gaming and all the admins who put this on. They kind of just wait around for us to be ready. So shout outs to them. And again, go follow these runners, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya. I think that's gonna do it for us. Is there anything else going on speed gaming right now?
Definitely go. Like I said, for SMO, there's not much going on, but I'm sure there's Link to the Past races, Mega Man races going on all the time. So just check those schedules out. Just peek your head and see what's going on. So, thank you guys so much. But yeah, that's it for me. See everyone tomorrow.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.